The studio went silent. Robin McGraw sat across from her husband of 47 years, holding a phone in her trembling hand. What came next wasn't scripted. It wasn't rehearsed. And it would expose the man who'd built an empire counseling others on honesty in marriage. For decades, Dr. Phil preached accountability. He told millions of viewers to face their truth. But now, his own truth was about to play through the speakers for everyone to hear. The recording was 47 seconds long and would change everything. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not on camera, not in front of millions. But Robin McGraw had made a choice. For 3 months, she'd carried this secret alone. 3 months of sleepless nights, replaying conversations in her mind, wondering if she was losing her sanity. 3 months of watching her husband look America in the eye and tell them how to save their marriages while their own was crumbling behind closed doors. The interview was supposed to be a celebration, a special episode marking nearly 5 decades of marriage. The audience expected heartwarming stories and relationship advice from television's most famous couple. Instead, they were about to witness something no one had ever seen. Dr. Phil McGraw speechless. Robin had planned this moment carefully. She'd coordinated with producers in secret. She'd rehearsed what she would say. But now, sitting under those bright studio lights, her hands wouldn't stop shaking. "Phil," she said, her voice steady despite the storm inside her. "Before we continue, there's something I need to address." Dr. Phil's expression shifted. For the first time in his career, uncertainty crossed his face. He leaned forward slightly, his media-trained composure flickering. "Robin, what are you?" "I need you to listen," she interrupted. The audience sensed the tension immediately. Whispers died out. Cameras zoomed in. She held up her phone. 3 months ago, I received a call from a woman named Jennifer. She said she needed to tell me something about you. Something you'd been hiding." The color drained from Dr. Phil's face. He knew exactly who Jennifer was. "At first, I didn't believe her," Robin continued. "How could I? We've been together since I was 19 years old. You've built your entire career on trust and transparency." So I told her she was mistaken. "I defended you." She paused, letting the weight of her words settle over the room. "But then she sent me this recording." Robin's finger hovered over the play button. Dr. Phil reached out, his voice dropping to a whisper that the microphone still caught. "Robin, please. Not like this. We can talk about this privately." "We've had 3 months to talk privately," she said. "You chose not to. So now, America gets to hear what I heard." And then she pressed play. To understand how it got to this point, you have to go back. Back to a charity gala in Los Angeles, where Jennifer Martinez was working as an event coordinator. She was 38, recently divorced, and rebuilding her life one event at a time. The gala was for a children's literacy foundation, one of Dr. Phil's pet causes. He was the keynote speaker that night, charismatic and commanding as always. They met at the cocktail reception. Standard small talk at first. But Dr. Phil had a way of making people feel seen, heard, understood. It's what made him famous. And Jennifer, still raw from her divorce, was vulnerable to that kind of attention. "He asked about my life," she would later recall. "Not in a surface-level way. He wanted to know my story, my struggles, what kept me up at night. And I told him everything." They exchanged numbers. Professional networking, she told herself. He was looking for someone to help organize a book tour. She was looking to expand her client base. It made sense. The text started innocently enough. Meeting times, venue options, budget discussion. But gradually they shifted. Late-night messages asking how her day went. Photos of sunsets with captions about feeling understood. Inside jokes that had nothing to do with work. Jennifer knew it was crossing a line, but she was lonely, and he was attentive in ways her ex-husband never had been. The first phone call lasted 2 hours. They talked about everything except work. He told her about the pressure of fame, the weight of being America's therapist, the loneliness of always having to have the answers. She told him about the grief of divorce, the shame of failure, the fear of starting over. "I felt like I'd found someone who actually understood me," Jennifer said. "Someone who saw past the mess and still wanted to be there." It was a dangerous illusion, and they both knew it. But knowing something is wrong doesn't always stop you from doing it. 3 weeks later, during a book tour stop in Phoenix, Jennifer flew in to oversee logistics. They had dinner at a quiet restaurant outside the city. Wine, conversation, and then a decision that would unravel everything. The affair lasted 4 months. Secret hotel rooms, burner phones, the thrill and guilt of forbidden connection. Jennifer told herself it was love. Dr. Phil told himself it was a mistake he'd end soon. But then Jennifer's conscience caught up with her. She thought about Robin, about the millions of women Dr. Phil had counseled on infidelity, about the hypocrisy of it all. She ended it. Dr. Phil seemed relieved. They agreed to never speak of it again. But Jennifer couldn't live with the secret, and she couldn't let Robin live in a lie. The audio played through the studio speakers. Dr. Phil's voice, unmistakable and clear. I know this is complicated, Jennifer, but you have to understand what Robin and I have it's a partnership. It's complicated. She doesn't understand the pressure I'm under every day. You do. You actually see me. Jennifer's voice responded. Phil, this isn't right. You know it isn't. You tell people every single day to be honest with their partners. How can you? I know what I tell people, he interrupted. The frustration in his voice was palpable. But my life it's not that simple. I can't just blow up everything I've built. The show, the brand, the family. So what am I? Jennifer asked. Just a secret you keep? A long pause. Then Dr. Phil's voice, quieter now. You're the only person who makes me feel like myself anymore. The recording ended. 47 seconds that shattered an empire. The studio remained frozen. No one moved. No one breathed. All eyes turned to Dr. Phil, sitting rigid in his chair, his face a mask of shock and shame. Robin set the phone down slowly. When she finally spoke, her voice was steady, but tears streamed down her face. That's not even the worst part, she said. The worst part is that I had to hear it from her. The worst part is that you looked me in the eye every single day for 4 months and said nothing. The worst part is that you've made a living telling other people to do exactly what you refuse to do. Dr. Phil opened his mouth, then closed it. For a man who'd spent decades teaching communication, he had no words. The audience sat in stunned silence. Some women were crying. Others looked angry. Everyone understood they were witnessing something unprecedented, the collapse of a carefully constructed image in real time. I want you to know something, Robin continued. I didn't play this recording to humiliate you. I played it because I need you to finally understand what accountability looks like. Not the version you sell to audiences. The real version. The kind that hurts. Could you forgive someone who betrayed not just your trust, but everything they claim to stand for? The episode never aired. Not in its original form, anyway. But word spread fast. Producers scrambled. Legal teams mobilized. And Dr. Phil McGraw, for the first time in his public life, had to face real consequences. Robin moved out of their home that night. She didn't make a public statement. She didn't file for divorce immediately. She simply disappeared from the public eye, taking refuge at their son's house in Northern California. Dr. Phil canceled his next 3 shows. The official reason: personal health matters. The real reason: he was collapsing under the weight of his own hypocrisy. Jennifer Martinez went into hiding too. She'd never wanted to be part of scandal. She just wanted Robin to know the truth. Now she was getting death threats from loyal fans who couldn't reconcile the man they trusted with the man on that recording. But here's what happened next that nobody expected. Dr. Phil did something honest. 2 weeks after the recording incident, he released a video. No PR team. No script. Just him, sitting alone in his home office, looking exhausted and raw. I owe you all an apology, he began. But more than that, I owe Robin more than I can ever repay. For 47 years, she stood by me. She supported my career, raised our children, and believed in me even when I didn't deserve it. And I betrayed that. I betrayed her trust. I betrayed my own principles. And I did exactly what I've spent my life telling others not to do. He didn't make excuses. He didn't blame stress or pressure or loneliness. He simply admitted what he'd done and acknowledged the pain he'd caused. I don't know if Robin will ever forgive me, he said. I don't know if our marriage can survive this. But I do know that I have to face this honestly, without hiding behind my reputation or my platform. If I've taught anything over the years, It's that you can't heal what you won't acknowledge. So I'm acknowledging it now. I failed, and I'm sorry. The video went viral. Millions of views in hours. The response was split. Some people appreciated the honesty. Others said it was too little, too late. Many pointed out the irony of Dr. Phil finally practicing what he'd preached. But the person whose response mattered most remained silent. Robin didn't comment publicly. She didn't defend him. She didn't condemn him. She simply took time to process what had happened and decide what she wanted for her own life. And that decision would surprise everyone. 6 weeks after the recording played, Robin agreed to meet Dr. Phil. Not at home, not at the studio, at a small cafe in Napa Valley, away from cameras and headlines. They sat across from each other, two people who'd shared nearly 5 decades of life, now feeling like strangers. "I'm not here to make this easy for you," Robin said. "I'm here because I need to say something, and I need you to really hear it." Dr. Phil nodded. He looked older somehow, the weight of his choices visible in his eyes. "What you did broke me," Robin continued. "Not just the affair, the lying, the hypocrisy. Watching you tell other couples to choose honesty while you were choosing deception every single day. That's what broke me." She paused, gathering her thoughts. "But here's what I realized in these last 6 weeks. I have a choice. I can let this define the rest of my life, or I can decide what I want my life to look like from here. And I'm not ready to throw away 47 years because of 4 months of terrible choices." Dr. Phil's eyes filled with tears. "That doesn't mean I forgive you yet," Robin said firmly. "Forgiveness isn't something I can just decide to feel. It's something you'll have to earn, maybe for the rest of your life. But I'm willing to try to rebuild if you're willing to do the actual work. Not the work you tell other people to do. The real work. Therapy. Accountability. Rebuilding trust one day at a time." "I'll do whatever it takes," Dr. Phil said. "I promise you." "Don't promise me anything," Robin interrupted. "Show me. That's all I want. Show me that you can be the person you've always claimed to be." They didn't hug. They didn't hold hands. But they agreed to try. And that was something. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. Robin made that clear. She'd hired her own therapist. She'd set boundaries. She'd insisted on full transparency, passwords, schedules, everything. And if Dr. Phil slipped even once, she'd walk away without hesitation. But she was giving him a chance. Not because he deserved it, but because she deserved the opportunity to make her own choice about her own life. What would you have done? 8 months have passed since the recording played. The Dr. Phil show continues, but it's different now. He's different. He doesn't talk about other people's relationships with quite the same certainty anymore. He's more humble, more honest about his own failures. Some critics say he's exploiting his scandal for ratings. Others say he's finally practicing what he's preached. Robin appears occasionally, but on her terms. She's launched her own podcast about navigating betrayal and rebuilding trust. She doesn't sugarcoat the pain. She doesn't pretend everything is healed. She simply shares her journey, hoping it might help someone else who's facing a similar choice. Jennifer Martinez moved to Oregon and changed careers. She works with a nonprofit helping divorced women rebuild their lives. She's never given an interview. She doesn't need to. Her conscience is finally clear. As for the marriage itself, it survives. But survival isn't the same as thriving. Robin and Phil are rebuilding slowly, painfully, one difficult conversation at a time. Some days are better than others. Some days, Robin wonders if she made the right choice. Other days, she sees glimpses of the man she fell in love with at 19. The truth is, there are no perfect endings to stories like this. No easy resolutions. Just real people making real choices about how to move forward after everything falls apart. Dr. Phil used to tell his guests that the first step to change is always the same. You have to get real. He finally took his own advice. Whether that's redemption or simply the beginning of a very long reckoning, only time will tell. If this story moved you, think about what it means to actually practice what you preach. Not just in big moments, but in the small daily choices that define who we are. Betrayal doesn't just break trust, it breaks the story we tell ourselves about our lives. But healing is possible when we stop hiding from the truth. What would you do in Robin's place? Could you choose forgiveness without forgetting? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more real stories about facing hard truths and rebuilding after everything falls apart, subscribe. Because sometimes the most powerful transformations come from the deepest pain.